There are many different ways to become a dog trainer. Here's the first part of mine.
I thought I'd record my bio so anybody that's interested, and in fact, it's going to be more than anybody that's interested. If you want to come train in here, I'm going to ask you questions on this because if you haven't read my bio, I'm going to figure out why the hell are you here and why have you driven past all these other dog trainers. So, um, how can somebody as young as me possibly have been training dogs since the 1970s? Well, I was actually born in 1961 and I wasn't to get a dog until I was 10. Although I've probably, according to my parents, always been badgering to get a dog. Uh, they succumbed finally when I was 10, basically because my nan had just died of lung cancer, and everybody had seen her dying a pretty horrible death. Really, wasn't much fun at all witnessing that and going to see her as a child because she wanted to see her grandchildren, obviously before she passed on. And anyway, on my 10th birthday, because of this unfortunate set of circumstances, I got a golden retriever puppy for my birthday, and everything went really well initially, as it always does with a puppy, doesn't it? Nobody has a problem with a young puppy. It's only when they start to hit 5 6 months age, maybe a little bit older, that you'll maybe start to experience some issues and problems. And I don't think we were having too many problems. The dog was a fairly typical puppy and causing a few issues, but nothing serious. And then till one day, there was an incident and it bit me. And then all hell broke loose because what were we going to do with the dog? Perhaps we should have the dog put to sleep. That nobody knew, um, or parents didn't know what to do. But obviously, I wasn't going to let that happen because I loved the bloody dog, and really forced them into searching for some dog training so that they learnt how to control this dog. Because bearing in mind I was still 10, so like I wasn't born a dog trainer. I had to learn to become a dog trainer like everybody does. So funnily enough, because this will cycle back much later on if you watch a few more of these, the local dog training club was run by Metropolitan Police dog handlers because the dog training school was literally just round the back of our estate. And they were good. There was a lot of fairly bog standard training then. It was like Barbara Woodhouse style, if you like, but with a police edge on it. And there's lots of marching round, bossing the dog about. Don't knock it. It used to work. It used to work quite well. In fact, if I think back, there were probably fewer problem dogs around then than there are now. Mind you, there was a lot less dogs then. But they used to be latchkey dogs as well in those days, so a lot of people would just let them out and they'd roam the streets and come back in the evening, a bit like a cat. I, th- I think it still goes on in some parts of Europe anyway. So parents were marching, or my dad was seconded to do this, was marching around in circles, bossing this puppy around, and yeah, sorted it out. It was a lot of the problems went away. The really interesting thing was that of a weekend on a Sunday, they used to run working trials classes. So that was all about tracking, searching, and the associated agility work, which was much more controlled than agility as we know it now. So there would be pieces of equipment, your dog would have to be under control, do the piece of equipment and be under control the other side and then come back again. So it was really conducive to like good obedience in a dog. Now, I found all of this really interesting. Although I was very young, so I was only 10, I used to go along and get involved, and I found it really, really interesting. And it was kind of what sowed the seeds for me that to be interested in working dogs as opposed to just having a dog as a pet. So yeah, you need to check back because there's going to be a load more episodes to do with this. This is to tell you why you need to be training here and why you need to be following us about dog training, maybe not some of the other trainers that you are currently following. This is letting you realize that there's a huge depth of experience going back many, many decades if you come and follow us and get involved with our training programs.